Hello guys, welcome back to Java Fanatics. Today we're going to be talking about object versus its reference. So the reason why I came up with this video tutorial it's because most people still confuse an object with its reference. They don't know how to differentiate between the two. So a reference is used to access an object and its contents. It's like a pointer to an object that resides in the heap. And an object in the heap doesn't have memory. Sorry, it doesn't have name. And the only way to access that object is through its reference. So you can't access an object except through its reference. And then it is important also to mention that objects in the heap vary in size. Therefore, they consume varying memory. So what what decides the size of the reference is the variables that are declared within the class that was used to create that object. So you have int, you have long. You guys know that an int is 32-bit and a long is 64-bit. So based on that, now you see you already have 32-bit plus 64-bit. So they are going to use all those properties inside that class to measure how big that object's memory is in the heap. So that's it, guys. So you should look at a reference like a road sign. A road sign, if it tells you, okay, if you want to go somewhere else, this is how you to get there. Basically points you to what you're looking for, but itself it doesn't have that. So if you go at the road sign, you won't find them all. You won't find your destination place. It will show you where to find the destination place. So that's basically what a reference is. So I have a graphical representation of that, so you can see you can pretty much see what that reference and object looks like in memory and heap. So if you have person P in your code and you instantiate person P, say with something like this. So as you can see here, we have basic and you have a nested static class person with all his attribute and all that. So if you instantiate this, so this part is what we call an object. P is a reference pointing to this object. So the minute you see, every time you see a new keyword in Java, you know that an object is being instantiated, it's been created. So this person P equals new person, age 25, name Eric, is what we have here. So we see we have person P pointing to this object, which resides in the heap. So we see that person here, he has age 25 and the name is Eric in the heap. Although it is important to mention that this string here is also an object. That is why we have P as like this in our code. It's also an object as opposed to this int here. An integer is not an object because it's a primitive. Remember our discussions between objects, reference types and primitives. So this is a graphical representation of what I just explained, guys, look like. So we have P pointing to this guy. And we also have this object also being pointed to by this name, which is inside this other object that is in the heap. So we see there is a cycle of the dependencies here, guys. So this is it. P is a reference. It points to an object in the heap. Also in this case, name is also another reference because it's pointing to an object of type string, which holds value Eric. So guys, that's it about object versus reference. I hope now you know the distinction between an object versus its reference. Thank you guys for watching this video tutorial. Please don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next tutorial.